To the world, he's calm, quiet, almost unreadable. The producer genius of BTS. The rapper whose words cut deeper than most. But behind that cold exterior, behind the success and global fame, there's a story filled with pain. A story of struggle, sacrifice, and survival. Because before the world knew him as Suga, he was just a young man fighting against everything to keep his dream alive. This is the untold story of Suga, and the pain he carried behind the smile. Chapter 1, A Dream Born in Taegu. Before the fame, before the music charts, before the millions of fans, Suga was Min Yoongi, a boy growing up in Taegu. He didn't come from wealth. He didn't have connections. What he had was passion. From a young age, Yoongi fell in love with music. Not just listening to it, but creating it. He began writing lyrics, producing beats, dreaming of becoming a musician. But dreaming is easy. Reality is much harder. Chapter 2, When Family Became a Barrier. For Yoongi, one of the hardest challenges wasn't the industry. It was his own family. His parents strongly opposed his decision to pursue music. They believed it was unstable, risky, unrealistic. And in many ways, they weren't wrong. The music industry is one of the hardest paths to succeed in. Imagine chasing a dream, while the people closest to you don't believe in it. That kind of emotional weight can break a person. But Yoongi didn't stop. Even when he had no support, he kept going. Chapter 3, Poverty, Part-Time Jobs, and Survival. Before joining Big Hit Entertainment, Yoongi lived a life far from glamour. He struggled financially. At one point, he worked part-time delivery jobs just to survive. There were days when he had to choose between food and transportation. Days when survival mattered more than dreams. But even in those moments, he kept writing music. Because music wasn't just a dream. It was his escape. Chapter 4, The Accident That Changed Everything. One of the most painful moments in Yoongi's life came during his delivery job. He was involved in a serious accident that injured his shoulder. At the time, he couldn't afford proper medical treatment. So he kept working. He kept training. He kept pushing through the pain. But that injury didn't disappear. It stayed with him for years. Even during BTS's rise to fame. Even while performing on global stages, Yoongi was carrying physical pain most people never saw. Chapter 5, Entering Big Hit. A new struggle begins. When Yoongi joined Big Hit Entertainment, things didn't suddenly get easier. In fact, the challenges only changed. He entered as a producer and rapper, but becoming part of BTS meant adapting to something new. Idol life, dance training, stage performance, public image. For someone who preferred being behind the scenes, this was a huge adjustment. And it wasn't easy. Chapter 6, The Silent Battles. Suga has always been known as the quiet member, reserved, calm. But silence doesn't mean peace. In reality, Yoongi was fighting battles internally. He has openly spoken about his struggles with mental health, depression, and anxiety. There were times when he felt lost. Times when he questioned everything. Times when the pressure became overwhelming. But instead of speaking loudly about it, he expressed it through music. Honest, raw, unfiltered. Chapter 7, The Pressure to Succeed. When BTS debuted in 2013, success didn't come overnight. The group faced criticism. They were underestimated, ignored by many in the industry. For Yoongi, who had already sacrificed so much, failure wasn't an option. Because he knew what it cost him to get there. The sleepless nights, the financial struggles, the pain, all of it would mean nothing if the dream failed. That pressure was intense, and it stayed with him. It was his escape. Chapter 8, Fame Doesn't Heal Everything. As BTS rose to global fame, everything changed. Money, recognition, success. But fame doesn't erase pain. The physical injury remained. The mental struggles didn't disappear overnight. And the pressure only increased. Now millions of people were watching. expecting, judging. Even success can feel overwhelming when it comes with constant scrutiny. Chapter 9: Turning Pain into Music. What makes Suga different is how he transforms pain into art. His music doesn't hide reality. It confronts it. Through his solo work, he talks about depression, fear, failure, self-doubt, topics many artists avoid. But Yoongi embraces them, because he knows someone out there is feeling the same way. And in that honesty, he creates connection. Chapter 10: The Strength Behind the Silence. To many fans, Suga may seem quiet, but his strength is undeniable. Because real strength isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's waking up every day and continuing forward. Despite the pain, despite the doubts, despite everything, Yoongi didn't just survive his struggles. He turned them into something powerful. Today, Suga is known as one of the most respected producers and artists in the world. But his journey reminds us of something important. Behind success, there is sacrifice. Behind talent, there is pain. And behind silence, there is often a story waiting to be heard. Yet despite everything he faced, Yoongi kept going. And in doing so, he didn't just achieve his dream. He became a voice for millions who are still fighting theirs. If Suga's story moved or inspired you, share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what part of his journey touched you the most. And if you want to uncover more powerful stories behind your favorite celebrities, the next video on your screen dives into the incredible journey of BTS leader RM. Click it now to discover another inspiring story you won't want to miss. Before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next deep dive into the untold stories behind the stars.